Knock knock. Who's there? Dwayne. Dwayne who? Dwayne the bathtub, I'm drowning. There you go. I asked you all in chat if you wanted a joke or a song to intro, and we picked the joke. So there was one of my favorite knock knock jokes of all time. My mom used to tell me that all the time. It was her go-to. So nice to see you all here today, tonight, wherever you are, whenever you are, especially if you're watching the creative replay. Hi, future people. Happy September. Hopefully you are having a great day so far, and hopefully it's going to get a little bit better here with the Daily Creative Challenge in Adobe Illustrator. My name is Andrew Hochradel. Hello, nice to meet you. If you haven't before, welcome. Welcome. If you haven't joined us, welcome to the stream. You can follow me over here on the socials, just Hawk.co right there. Behance, Instagram, Twitter, all the places. Wade will drop a link for you. Also, say hi to Wade, our moderator. Hi, Wade. Nice to see you in here. Today, we are going to be continuing our journey of daily creative challenges, and I just have a couple quick announcements to make, and then we'll get right into it today. First thing I want to talk about is you can go to behance.net/challenge/illustrator to get started, and you can click this button and it will remind you every single day that there is a new challenge. You also can scroll down here and grab our source file for today, which is a modern logo. We're going to be designing a modern logo and traveling back through time, of course, to create that logo. Now, if you're just joining us, we are having some fun, especially over on our Discord. And Discord is right up here, bit.ly/AI Discord. That's where you need to go to drop in your projects when you're done. Go ahead and type this in, click on it and sign up. And when you are done with your project each day, you can go ahead and just put it in here. We'll give you some feedback. If you have any issues, you can also post them in here and I'll try to respond to give you some guidance on that. A couple of people had some issues yesterday, but we got them resolved. We also have some other friends. Katarina's in there. We have Jack in there giving some feedback and helping you out in the Daily Creative Challenge here on Discord. All right. With that, we're going to jump right in today. If you haven't joined us before, we are continuing a series called Once Upon a Design. We like to have some fun as we do these challenges, get a little bit goofy, and have a theme so that you can kind of track through. Our theme, Once Upon Design, is traveling through time to understand the history of design, the history of visual communication. So yesterday, we were all the way back in the caveman era, as you can see by these petroglyphs that are here on the walls that we created. And today we are zooming a bit more forward in time, about 1920. So we're going to cover between 1920 and 1930 today. But I think that I'm getting another call with Wade. And yes, I understand the continuity of me playing this bumper every day and Wade constantly coming tomorrow, but we'll just pretend like it makes sense. All right. Hello, Wade. I think I'm getting a call. Hello?
Hey, Andrew, I know you're streaming and everything, but I just wanted to check and make sure that everything is ready for my visit.
Yeah, it's next week, right?
No, that's tomorrow.
Oh, it's happening tomorrow.
Yeah.
I gotta go. Oh no, I hit the wrong button. There we go. I ruined the illusion. Hello everyone. That costume changed. I didn't have enough time, y'all. We're pretend like we nailed it. There we go. Hello everyone, and welcome to our journey through time. We've landed here in the 1920s, and yes, you all thought that we were going to be doing Art Deco, but guess what? We are taking a little bit of an international approach and moving over to Germany to go to the Bauhaus. So the Bauhaus is a major design movement, and it was a school that really started out kind of a movement of design. It's something in a style called modernist. And modernist is a lot of very, and yes, I look like I slept in this shirt. I do. It's very wrinkly. So a modernist is a very future forward look, a lot of simple shapes, and a lot of logos that really had some expression. So let me point over here. This is the Bauhaus. It's in Germany, and the Bauhaus, again, it's a school that started, and it had a unique approach to education. It kind of let the students run wild and experiment and just try crazy things. There were some of the professors that advocated that the only way to stay creative was to be vegan and have energy cleansings. But they also had a great time with the idea of having fun and playing with design and with creation. It was founded by a man by the name of Walter Gropius, and they worked a lot using essential shapes and forms. So that basically means squares, circles, and triangles. Those are the three things that we're going to be working with today, just basic shapes. So let's go ahead and hop over into Adobe Illustrator and start working in the Bauhaus style. We're also going to cover the destigial style, but I'm just going to touch on that a little bit. For your research homework, that's what I want you to do. Definitely make your pieces and do the challenge, but if you need a little bit extra, go ahead and research destigial as well, especially a man named Theo von Dussberg. We'll talk about him at the end. So today, we are going to design a modern logo or icon using simple shapes alongside the Pathfinder and Shape Builder tools. So if you haven't worked in Bauhaus before, there are a lot of Bauhaus images that are red, black, and white. That's kind of a trademark for the Bauhaus. Red tie, I tried. And so the style is using those colors. So we're going to use those colors today. And I actually have my hotkeys turned on so you can see down at the bottom there. Hello. As I hit different keys, you can see the hotkeys that I'm using. I'll also try to dictate if I'm using Control or Shift because it won't show up down there when we're using different tools. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw out some boxes. And the hotkey for making a box is just M. So we're using M right here. And here we can click and drag, and you can see that it's pinned to where I started the click, and then it continues out from there. We can hold Shift to make a box, which is proportionate. And we're just going to make that box there. And of course, we're going to use black. We're going to use a little bit of a gray. I don't like using full white. And then we are going to use a red just out of our swatches panel here. So these are the three colors we're going to use. Those are the three colors we're going to use. A little bit more powdery. And we're going to start designing and using first the Pathfinder tool, and then maybe we'll go over and do the Shape Builder tool. Now, I want to get some suggestions from you, chat. Let me know what you want me to create, what kind of logo or icon you want me to create, and we can do that. And while we do that, I'm going to kind of show you a couple things that I've learned about creating simple shapes. So the first is, we just covered it. If you want to create a square, it's really easy. You just click and drag, hold Shift, and you can make a square. If you want to, you also can make a circle. In circles, you can do a couple different ways. You can click and drag to make an oval, and any way that you kind of squish and stretch it, it will make that. If you hold Shift, it will make a perfect circle. And if you hold Shift and Alt or Option, it will make a circle from the center of where you started. So we're going to make our center there. And the last one, again, there's no way to do things wrong in design. And so the last one that I'm going to show you is we're going to click and hold right here, and we're going to go down to the polygon tool. And my favorite thing about the polygon tool is this. Check this out. We're going to click and drag, and you can see that we have like this crazy polygon happening. And we're going to click and drag in the middle here. You can see this polygon's a little bit crazy. It has too many sides, but what you can do as we click and hold with the polygon tool, you can actually use the arrow keys going up and down, and each time you hit up and down, it will add a side to that shape. So if we want to, we can go all the way down to 3, and it will make that perfect little triangle for us, and we can click there, and now we have a perfect little triangle. Now, another way to do a triangle, if you want, you can click and go to the star tool. You can click and make a 3-pointed star. A 3-pointed star is, you got it. Why are you not letting me scale? Something odd's happening. I have a setting turned on that I was going to show you. Yes, it's right there. And a time travel logo, great idea. So Dan, we're going to do a time travel logo, and we're going to work right here with a circle. So we're just going to use L to grab our oval. And we're going to click and drag the circle out. Now we're working on a grid because a lot of the Bauhaus was all about different kind of shapes, different emotions, and keeping things very, very modern and locked in. So we're going to use simple shapes here. we're starting with a circle, and I actually want this to be an outlined circle. And so I could shift it and create a stroke and just put a thick stroke on here, but I don't want to do that. Oh, Control Z, there we go. That's a lot of Control Z's on that screen. What we're going to do is we're going to make another circle here, and we're going to bring that circle out from the center. Now I want this to kind of be almost a line. Oops, I'm hitting all the wrong hotkeys today, y'all. There we go. I want this to be almost a stroke, so we're going to pull it out there, and you can see that these two are overlapping. I'll make them two colors for you. And with that, there's a couple things that we can do. We can click on both of these and come to our Pathfinder right over here. If you don't have that, you can go to Window Pathfinder. But we can click on this right here, minus front. And what that's going to do is think of it as a hole punch. It's going to punch out the top object out of the bottom. So we're going to click, and now we have a punch. And you can see if we have a different color behind here, it is indeed punched out so that it is one shape. Now, another thing that we can do is we can come in here, we can undo all of that, and with these two shapes, we can use something called the Shape Builder tool. If you haven't used the Shape Builder tool and you're just using Pathfinder, you can save a bunch of time using the Shape Builder. And as we grab this tool, we can select our objects right here and grab the Shape Builder tool. You can see that we're getting that little bit of a mesh over here. And what that does is it's showing us the two different shapes that could be built here. Now, if we click and drag over both of these, you'll see that it's going to join us. So this hand isn't doing anything. We're not touching the keyboard. We're just clicking and dragging, and it will join those together. Now we can undo that, and in this middle, you can see that just the middle part is selected. We can actually hold Alt or Option. So I'm holding Alt right now. It's not showing up on the screen, and click through this blue. And what that's going to do is tell us, hey, we want that to go away. And now we can see that this shape has been subtracted, and we just have the one shape, right? Just like the Pathfinder, the Shape Builder just works really, really quickly, and it's a great tool to kind of do something super fast. Now, with this, I do want to kind of create a maybe an arrow. So we're going to use simple shapes again, just using a rectangle and staying on this grid. And we are going to select both of these. And this time I am going to use the path. Let's use the Shape Builder. And because I know I want to punch out this rectangle out of the circle, I can hold Alt and not only go over this one, I can go over the line and the other piece, and it's actually just going to subtract all of those. So anything that I do, it's going to subtract those through. So now I'm going to create my little timekeeper here, and I'm actually just going to grab this triangle over here, and I'm going to hold Alt or Option. You can see that it goes to two little arrows. So we have a black arrow and a white arrow, and that means it's going to make a copy of that. Now I'm going to rotate that and bring it up here to kind of lock in with this. We're going to scale this down just a little bit by grabbing those anchor points. And there we go. So we have a nice little time travel backwards. And maybe I want to add a couple other pieces to this. And the thing that I want is I want to kind of create some lines. It's a lot of kind of simple lines and maybe start to abstract some of this. So let's create some lines as if it were a clock. What we're going to do is we're actually going to use the line tool here. And the line segment tool, we can click and drag, and you can't see it there, but it is making a line segment. A line segment is basically, it starts in one place and stops in another place. So from one place to the other, just creating that segment. We're going to put a stroke on that segment by coming over here to the stroke, and we will make it that same red color. And if you weren't here yesterday, we learned a tip about the eyedropper tool. As long as we have the stroke selected and the object selected, we can hold Shift, and it will pick up whatever color we have when we click on that eyedropper. So we use the eyedropper, we held Shift, and instead of grabbing the format of the shape, it just grabbed the color and applied it to that stroke. So we're going to go ahead and make the stroke a bit thicker. There we go. That looks good. It's a little bit off-center visually, but that's fine for now. And what I want to do is I know I want to rotate this by maybe 30 degrees. Now, you've probably seen this trick before, is you can come down here with the rotate tool, which is just R, and you can click on this bottom anchor point. Now, you also can drag and hold shift and it will go at 45-degree angles. You can see the smart guides happening there. But I actually learned this the other day that I want to share with you, is you can hit Control or Command K to bring up your preferences and go to Smart Guides. And from there, we can actually turn on custom angles. So from here, maybe I want, instead of 45, I want 60-degree angles. So I'm going to hit OK. We changed this construction guides right here to 60-degree angles. We're going to hit OK. And now when I click and drag this, you'll see that my smart guides are actually going to point out anytime I get to 60 degrees. So right there, this is the 60 degree. Oops, it locked in right there. So there's 60 degrees. If we keep going, it should lock in around 120. Let's see if it does it. Ooh, it should be grabbing that smart guide. Oh, there was another one. There we go. There's another 45, and it should be grabbing another one of the 60s right over here. So you can see that it's aligning at 60 degrees, and so you can actually change those very easily, right? Super cool thing. I literally learned that like yesterday. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to round this off. And with our stroke over here, we're just going to do round cap. And that's going to keep it nice and round, nice and kind of modern looking. Let's move this so that it goes a little more into this corner. We'll actually drag it up at a 45, just holding shift. And maybe we have it also come down this way into that corner. So now we have two pieces kind of staying modern, staying clean, and abstracting something. Now the next thing I want to do is I want to create a little kind of call out here. And with that, I'm going to create another circle to kind of fit in this space. And to change the stroke and the fill, we can hold Shift and X. So Shift X, if you see the capital down here, that just means that I'm holding Shift for that hotkey. So with that, I actually want this to only show this part in here. Now we could use the Shape Builder tool, but what I want to do is I'm going to grab a rectangle, just hitting M or grabbing the rectangle shape here. And I can actually select the rectangle and the circle. Let's make these different colors so y'all can see them. Oops, not a stroke. Again, I've got weird fingers today hitting all the wrong keys. So we're going to grab these two, and we actually want to only keep what is overlapping, right? So we only want this middle piece that's overlapping. We could grab the Shape Builder tool over here. And with the Shape Builder tool, we could hold Alt or Option, and we could click out this part, we could click out this part, and then it would leave us with that. So that's one way to do it. The other way to do it would be to grab the Pathfinder and use one of the further different modes, which is intersect. And the intersect mode is going to leave us so that it just has the intersecting pieces, which is the overlapping pieces that we see right here. So we're going to click on intersect, and it's going to keep just that piece for us. So that looks good. And I'm going to move it just over there so that we have a little bit of a call out. I'm going to make that black and grab the color that we have up here. There we go, looking kind of cool. And from there, I'm just going to rotate by clicking and dragging, holding Shift, and move it right over here. Well, that looks about even. I'm also going to add the stroke in white on these just to kind of give it a little bit of flavor. Did I do that? I did that opposite. There we go. So now we've got a little bit of white on those, looking good. And the next thing that I want to do to kind of make the Bauhaus really lock in is to add some construction lines. Actually, let's do this. Let's round some corners. That's something really important, and the Bauhaus had a lot of those rounded corners. There were some areas that were very sharp, but then a lot of different corners were rounded. And so we're going to actually join together these two shapes. You can see here that it is still a triangle and a semicircle line. I'm not sure what to call that yet. But we could grab the Shape Builder and just click and drag between the two of those, and it will make it one shape for us. Or we can use the Pathfinder tool to go ahead and join those together. So the first one over here on the Pathfinder is Unite, and we'll join them together. The next one is minus front. That is the hole punch, right? Punching the top object out of the bottom. And then we have intersect. That is the overlapping that we used. And then exclude is the opposite of the overlap. So those are the kind of overviews for what the Pathfinder is. Now, we just want to round off some of these corners. I definitely want to get these areas, and you can see the difference between using the selection tool, which is V, and that's the black one. It has all of the anchor points. Now, I also can use the direct selection tool, which is A. And I can click and drag, and you can see that I have selected these points. And because they're corners, you can see this little node here. It's a little dot, and you can click and drag this and watch what happens. It's gonna round those corners out. So we can pull it in all the way to make it a fully rounded circle, or we can click and drag just a little bit to give it a little bit of oomph. Now, the soft corner doesn't really make sense for the Bauhaus, especially for this piece. We want it to be fully circular, so we're just gonna drag that all the way into the middle. Now, with these middle pieces, I do want to kind of create some contrast. It looks like this is looking a little odd, so we can click and drag using that line extension Smart Guide and just make that even in the middle right there. We do want to maybe low-key vibes. Yes, ooh, major low-key vibes. I agree. So we do want to round off one of these corners. So I'm going to grab this corner here as well as this corner here. And I'm just clicking with the direct selection tool, holding shift to select multiple anchor points. And we're going to round these off just a bit to give us a little more of that kind of Bauhaus perfection. Now, I do want to show you something real quick. If you want to see, right, these little nodes, they might be smaller for you. I have mine turned up because I'm blind and I like to see them. So we're going to hit Command K and go to, I believe, User Interface. From there, nope, hold on. Grids and Guides, Grid, Guides, Smart Guide, Slices, Units, Type, Selection and Anchor Display. There we go. You can select Command K and then Selection and Anchor Display and change the size of those handles right here. So if you want larger nodes and larger handles, you can change it right here, Selection and Anchor Display, and then come down here and drag that to the right, just hitting Command K. So that's looking pretty good, but I do want to maybe create one more shape in the middle here. Maybe we'll just do a little circle to kind of even it out, and then make that circle red using the eye tool. So there we go. We have created a modern Bauhaus logo. I could probably refine this a little bit, but we have something for time travel. I'm actually going to drop this into the background and then make it a little more of that fun one color look that we had been playing around with before. So there we go. That feels a little bit more Bauhaus. And why not? We have 2 minutes. Let's go ahead and round this out a little bit as well to give us a little more of that Bauhaus look. Don't like it. All right, so there we go. We have our Bauhaus logo, and your homework, again, is to create a very simple, modern logo using these simple shapes. So we use a lot of circles here, a lot of rectangles and squares, and then we have just rounded those corners off using those nodes. So super simple to build with those shapes, and then use the rounded corners to make more complex shapes. Now, I do want you to research something called the Distigal style. Distigal style is the style, and it used a lot of simple shapes. I'm going to do a super quick kind of look at what the Distigal might remind you of. This is probably one of the most famous versions of the Distigal style. It would look something like this. Let's see here. Let's do that. Let's do that. And then this is how you may have seen Distigal, with a little bit of white here, and then maybe we have some red here, and then maybe looking familiar at all, right? You've probably seen something like this before, and this was a kind of progression of the Bauhaus movement called Distigal. It used simple shapes just like we had with the Bauhaus style, but a lot more angular and structural. So do some research. Look up the Distigal style and Theo von Dussberg if you can. And we will be back again tomorrow for another daily creative challenge. Now, Again, when you're done with this challenge, go right here, bit.ly/AI Discord, and drop your challenge in there. I want to see the modern logos. Show me your simple shapes and show me what you have created, and we'll go live and do some feedback probably tonight on my personal Behance, which you can follow right here, behance.net/hawk.co. We'll go live and hang out. And Jamie says, yes, it is Dustyle, not Distigal. Distigal is, I believe, German for the style. So drop your work in here, make those logos, and we will see you again tomorrow for another Illustrator Daily Creative Challenge. We'll actually be going back in time, away from the Bauhaus, I believe back into, I think, the Renaissance. So join us again tomorrow. We'll talk about some really fun stuff and learn another lesson here in Adobe Illustrator. Bye.